You are looking at Seattle or the Eastside and thinking, should I finally buy a rental in 2026? You're seeing high prices, solid rents, and this talk about a great housing reset as well, in addition, and wondering if this is the moment or if you're too late. Now, I'm going to walk you through 5 key things you need to think about before you buy a rental here in 2026 so that you don't end up with a money-eating headache. Yeah. Hey, it's Ravi Ramachandran with the Rams Group. My wife, Sijy, and I help buyers, sellers, investors, and relocating families make smart moves in the Seattle and Eastside areas. If you are a local owner thinking about turning your next move up into a rental, or you're moving here and want to pick up a long-term investment, this is for you. Now, I'm going to break down whether 2026 is actually a good year to buy a rental in our market and what kind of strategy it really takes. First, you need to understand what's happening with the rental demand here locally. The greater Seattle rental market is entering 2026 with high occupancy, around mid 90% plus range, and steady and modest rent growth. Not the crazy spikes of 2021, 2022, okay? Just for you to know. Now, regionally, forecasts call for rents to grow roughly in line with inflation around 2 to 3% a year as apartment construction slows and more people keep renting because ownership is still expensive. Now, that means demand for quality rentals in good locations should stay solid, making you win. That said, you can't bank on massive annual rent jumps though. To start off, you have to be real about the returns in a high-cost market like Seattle and the Eastside. Now, this is not a 10% cash on cash on day one kind of place anymore, especially for single-family homes in good school zones. Now, besides being aware, the latest investor guides show Seattle area rentals often penciling out as modest cash flow with strong long-term appreciation potential, especially in neighborhoods like Capitol Hill, Fremont, West Seattle, and parts of Eastside. So the play here is usually stable rent, stable rental demand, modest cash flow, and long-term equity growth, and not instant cash machine. Don't think of it like an ATM. Next, let's factor in regulations as well as rental caps. This is something crucial if you are going to be buying investment properties in this area. Basically, you need to know the rules of the game. Now, Seattle in particular is a regulated environment for landlords. Now, with rent increase caps tied to inflation and longer notice requirements for raising rents even. Besides being renter friendly, Seattle's rent increase cap is set just under 10% for 2026, and landlords have to give significant advance notice before such increases can go into effect. Now, if you're investing inside Seattle city limits, your numbers have to work within those constraints. They're boxing you in. Next, let's look at what picking the right property type and location for you for best cash returns are going to be. That would include what you buy, where you buy, because that matters more than ever. Now, small multifamily units, townhomes, or well-located single-family homes near transit, job centers, and amenities generally see stronger and more stable demand. It's a no-brainer. Now, on the Seattle side, that can look like Capitol Hill, Fremont, Ballard, West Seattle, or North Seattle pockets, a few of them, that attract professionals and families. On the east side, areas like Bellevue, Redmond, Kirkland, and Issaquah cost more to buy, but they pull in high demand tenants as well, tied to the tech and professional jobs, which are more common on the east side. All that said, I would ask you to have a clear 10+ year plan, not just look at it as a 1-year flip. Now, what do I mean? Having a 10-year mindset to begin with helps you beat the odds and set yourself for long-term success. Now, forecasts for 2026 talk about a long, slow reset, if you will, where income grows faster than home prices, well, for the market to gradually become more affordable. It's not a quick boom though. It's again tied to a forecast, right? Now, that favors investors who can buy a solid asset, whether normal ups and downs along the way, and keep it well maintained and let rents and equity grow over time. That's it. If you can't see yourself holding on for 7 to 10 years, a Seattle or Eastside rental may not be the right move right now for you. With all those facts, let me quickly recap so that the core fundamentals that we discussed kind of sticks with you, okay? I want you to again remember these 5 things. Number 1 is rental demand in the greater Seattle area is strong going into 2026 with high occupancy, modest rent growth, not boom and bust swings that we saw. The second is in Seattle and the East Side, rental investing is usually about steady cash flow and long-term appreciation, not instant high yields. Number 3 is regulations and rental caps in Seattle to mean that you have to underwrite your deals carefully and know the rules before you even buy or invest here. Okay? And then we also saw number 4, which was the property type and the locations which can drive your success. Think walkability, transit, job access, and tenant profile on both the Seattle and the Eastside areas. Then we saw Seattle and Eastside rental in 2026 makes most sense if you have at least a 7 to 10 year time horizon, where you'd be okay with a slow and steady, great housing reset environment that we are going to get into. And here's your call to action. If you are thinking about buying a rental in the Seattle or Eastside areas in 2026, and you want to know if the numbers and the strategy actually makes sense for you, let's connect. My contact information is in the description below. Feel free to call, text, direct message, or grab a spot on my calendar and we'll build a custom Seattle Eastside rental plan specifically catered to you. We'll look at the budget, neighborhoods, rents, and long-term goals that you have so that you are not guessing your way into a big investment. Also, if you want more straight talk videos on the Seattle housing market, rentals, long-term wealth building with real estate, and other place in the great housing reset year that we're getting into potentially, make sure that you hit subscribe so that you don't miss the next one. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.